I'd like to call to order the Common Council meeting for March 28th, 2023 at 6:02 p.m. Attendance roll call.
Alderpersons Wolf.
Here.
Hamel.
Here.
Terrence.
Here.
Kapusta.
Here.
Alderperson Schrader is absent. Alderperson Kubaki.
Here.
Madden.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Statement of public notice.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Thank you. Public comment. Would anyone from the public like to speak on anything on the agenda? Seeing no one here, I'm guessing Ryan's the only public here that would qualify. Oh yeah, Captain Fonz. All right. Communications from the mayor's office. One thing, okay, so these meetings are recorded. They're recorded and they're streamed live on YouTube. And in addition, then they're recorded and put out there. The amount of people that watch them live sometimes varies between 0 to 2 people. We're wondering if it's okay instead of having because right now Jake's in the back working the levers and everything and doing this for what's live. He can set it up that it automatically records, but it doesn't go out live. The next morning it would be out on the YouTube site for people to watch. Are you guys okay with that, or do you want to continue having a staff member here working a couple extra hours of overtime, doing which he typically takes as comp, but then he's leaving early on Fridays and not getting as much stuff that Barb needs done? I don't know what your thoughts are.
I would think it'd be fine, except, we can always change it if there's something big going on. But if we got 2 people watching, I would say half the time it's you because you're not here.
Ouch. Oh. I think I've missed 2 meetings in 3 years.
I just mean the meetings that you aren't part of.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So there's no statute. I mean, we just do this.
No, we don't have to record or do anything. It's really just a communications thing. I wouldn't want to get it off the YouTube site. I want to keep the meetings there. I'm just not sure if it's worth the extra cost of doing it live. Mm-hmm. And quite honestly, if we can find a way that we could start and stop it here and still do it live without compromising the security on the site, we'll do that. But right now we don't know of a way of doing that without having us actually log into the one code we have, which then if Carrie or I or whoever's up here accidentally hits the wrong button, we could lose all our recordings. So I don't want that right now. So, and if we can figure out a way of doing that, we'll do that then too. So if you're good with that, that's the direction we're going to go. And like Alderman Madden said, if we have some bigger event that we know there's going to be a lot of people or a lot of interest, we will pull Jake in for that.
Good.
All right, consent agenda. Approval of the Common Council minutes from March 14th, 2023. Approval of vouchers. Resolution 024-2023. Resolution regarding MS4 permit compliance. Resolution 025-2023, approval of award of bid for the 2023-24 Parks, Boulevards, Terraces, and Facility Landscaping. Resolution 026-2023, establishing traffic regulations, speed limit, and intersection revisions for the Muskego Business Park.
Move to approve and gross except for 025-2023.
Second.
Anything else? All right. All those in favor of everything but 025-2023, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Resolution 025-2023, approval of award of bid for the 2023-24 Parks, Boulevards, Terraces, and Facility Landscaping. Somebody has to move.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, we pulled it, right? We're going to have discussion on it. Obviously, I want to make sure that we keep all of our comments to not be disparaging to anybody on this list. There's a couple things that had come up in this discussion that I think might be good for us to just clarify. So if anybody goes back and sees the meeting, we discussed them. I had a couple calls come in. Scott, I have a couple questions for you on this process. This contract, historically, there was never any special agreement with prior relationships on?
Nope, we have bid this out all from the 6 years, I'll be in here in May, and then the years before. I never do it. If you look at the last contract, first of all, I would never do that on my own because I don't think I have the power. 2, Ryan, Tammy, and Adam would not let me do this with that. Jeff always says service contracts around 2 years that we usually do.
Got it.
So.
And there's never the bid process for this contract is never
It's not
back
a
and
bid,
forth.
it's more of a quote process.
It is a quote process, but we can negotiate service contracts, just to let you know.
That's why I'm calling it a quote versus a
Yeah.
bid.
And there was never any agreement in the past where work would be done at a subpar level in exchange for a number. I'm asking it because I want to make sure it's on the.
A lower subpar, a lower price or a subpar, I mean,
Well, it just.
what do you mean subpar?
Any type of, that the bid was set to a specific number, knowing that the work would reflect it being under a certain.
No.
Thank you.
When people bid, it's their right. They can bid at one point, whatever, as high or low as you can. If you look at the one that occurred 4 years ago, one gentleman was way lower than the other one. If you can look at all three this time, two were really close, one was a lot higher. You can go back and just see. People are, based on the contract, you can see what it is, okay? If you're looking at anything else from our last previous contract, we do pull things out. The last one that I have, I redlined things out, we changed, negotiate price, because, for example, the last one we did, we couldn't cover everything, so that's why DPW had to cut the lawn for PD for 1 year, and then we were able to increase our operating budget, and then we put that back into it. So, but if you look at the last contract, there's nothing in there for any type of extensions. There's nothing in there for anything. And first of all, if we do anything, I would put in a contract. And second of all, Jeff would say, why are you doing that to me? So that's usually
Okay.
my checks and balances.
Thank you. Appreciate
And
it.
just so we all remember, people get confused. This is a service contract. It's not a public bidding contract. So there's no reason to bid. It's recommended, and that's what Scott did. He gets quotes from a couple different companies, but he doesn't even have to do that. But we do that so that we can tell the public we're doing, what we can, due diligence. But there's no requirement. He can negotiate. He can do what he wants like any other contract.
Yeah, and that was one of my concerns too. So, yeah, Scott had clarified that, you had clarified that. Now with us, going back, it's not a bid, it's more or less getting a estimate for services.
It's a
Correct.
quote, yeah.
And then,
And you can, once the price comes in, you can negotiate it up or down.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And then, another question I had that, Scott provided tonight was, because I know several years ago, we had a lot of, capital, requisitions for some new mowers, and I was just curious on what we are cutting. And, Scott provided that list, and, we are still doing an extensive amount of grass cutting ourselves. So I don't know if you want to look at that or not.
Well, I just wanted to pull this off just because I believe we all,
we all got an extensive amount of communication regarding.
right, I just think it's fair that it gets aired out. And unfortunately, the person in the main part of this is not here tonight to represent himself. And why or why not, I don't know, but I explained how that process works and when, how people should show up for these meetings to speak and so on. So I just want to at least have the opportunity, just all of us to take a look at this and know where we're at with it. And with some of the communications that came back from city, what's going on. This is the third contract, or I shouldn't say contract, third bid that he would have done. Is that right? So he's been doing this for how many years before?
I think in total 8 years. So it was a couple years before me. He was doing the medians and boulevards. And Ryan, I think. And
Okay,
then,
so there's several bids that he's won
and then
over
the
the
6
years.
years. So I think it's total 8 years right now. So.
Okay, which is a long history, which the only question I have about all that is that it seems to be that there's a lot of history there, and all of a sudden there's a couple concerns. Is this been building for all those years or just recently?
Well, every time we send an email or something, like we bring up concerns, I think what has happened in the past is we've never had someone so close in bidding the whole thing that, or two that are so close to each other, that now we reflect also on qualifications and how much hand-holding are we doing? Now, in the past, he was so much lower, there is no way that I could go to another person and say, could you drop your price? I think it was almost $100,000, let's say, because that's not right. That's not going to work. So, but this case, we were able to, have two prices that are right next to each other. And also, we kind of brought up a list, myself, staff, and we sat down. Now, I don't do as much as like getting the calls as other people. And we sat in a room and like, what do you guys think? And we kind of said, these are some of the issues that we had. Now, Again,
Actually, before we go too far.
Yeah, don't,
let's
that's not
just-
really, without detail.
yeah, and I'm not going to the issues. I'm just saying this is what we do, and then we
But-
just decided to go that way.
I guess I'll just say this, and if you want to ask more questions in detail, you can. You know, we have these very talented staff members that we hire to do their jobs, and part of their doing their jobs is to make recommendations. And you know, I guess I'm asking you to trust their recommendation at this point. If you need some specifics on it and you haven't already gotten that, you know, we can ask that tonight. If you need more detail, I want to be fair to all the parties in here and not, you know. Essentially it's a business decision at this point, and I'm trying to protect all the parties involved.
No, I understand. I just wanted to get a history out in the air of how far back it was.
Yeah.
And what led up to where we are now. And you're saying it's just because the price was so much different. And there was some concerns involved without getting into detail that your recommendation is to go in a different direction.
Yeah. And again, this contract's up again in 2 years. Is the goal for the city to bid it out again in 2 years? Correct, without a doubt. There's no reason why is a continuing process. Is everyone, people are allowed to bid on it again in 2 years. Maybe even another company might come in. You know, we never know. But that gives you, taxpayers and council, the best deal possible, both on pricing and quality, I guess is the best way to put it.
Further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 5 to 1. Resolution 026-2023, establishing traffic regulations for speed limit and intersection revisions for the Muskego Business Park. Oh, wait, we did that. Never mind. No, just going down the line. Threw me off. There is no new business. License approval. Approval of a Class B dance hall permit for Two Banderas LLC, DBA Two Banderas LLC, located on Janesville Road for the license period of March 28th, 2023 through June 30th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Question for you.
What?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Is that license approval, since it was in finance, can we put that in consent as well, like we did the?
Yeah, but we typically don't, because anything
Okay.
with dancing or alcohol, you guys sometimes want to weigh in on, so maybe we
There's
can't.
usually a lot of questions.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we keep
Well, then,
it.
then it could be pulled though. So I'm just thinking, because I know we just recently did that with a few other items.
Sure. Yeah.
You can do it if you want to do it that way.
Yeah. So, but that discussion's not on the agenda.
Right. You went where I was going. Are you just going to go there?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Review of committee reports. You have the Finance Committee meeting, Finance Committee minutes for February 14th, 2023 in front of you for your review. Unfinished business, ordinance 1483, an ordinance to amend chapter 132 of the municipal code of the city of Muskego, alcoholic beverages, second reading.
This is second reading?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, move to approve.
Second.
Could you shed some light on what we're doing here?
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago in the committee hall, I brought forward with you,
Right
to
on the
you,
street now.
the possibility and input on if we get rid of the open intoxicant prohibition that we have in Muskego. Essentially, can you walk down the street with a beer in your hand? You know, my argument was, if you're doing something wrong with a beer in your hand, you can get ticketed for whatever you're doing wrong. It shouldn't be because you have a beer in your hand. And that was my philosophy. Before I even brought it to you, I brought it up to the police chief, who then, not only encouraged, I think I told him to make sure he brings it up to his command staff and to get their input. Captain Fons can probably reiterate that there was no concerns. They said, you know, by and large, it's, you know, if there's someone being disorderly, they get a disorderly conduct ticket. If they're, you know, there's public drunkenness, there's public, you know, everything you can think of, there's a ticket for. You know, to have the fact that I can't go for a walk down the street with my wife and have a beer or a glass of wine in my hand, didn't make sense.
Well, I read through this, and it's somewhere buried in legalese where it says that. I can't find out where it even says that.
It says that we can't?
It just says that you could, if you're on somebody's property and They offer you a beer and they agree to it.
Your property, but
yeah,
you can't walk down the street with it if
In
it's open.
public.
Right.
So there was a very clear prohibition on walking down the street or
Okay.
anywhere else with open intoxicant.
So Kevin, you've been breaking the law for a
Evans
long
walks
time.
around carrying beer everywhere, so I don't know.
Well, and I've been breaking the law myself. It shouldn't be against the law.
Kevin on Janesville.
I just couldn't find it. I knew what the gist of this was, but there's,
Yeah, in fact, it comes up in 3 different areas.
okay,
I don't have the old code in front of me, but that's where it would be.
gotcha. Well, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Ordinance 1484, an ordinance to amend Chapter 259 of the Municipal Code of the City of Muskego, Parks and Recreation Facilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
So this is just more language that has to do with doing the same. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Ordinance 1485, an ordinance to amend Chapter 263 of the Municipal Code of the City of Muskego, Peace and Good Order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Again, this language in those areas that covered this. We were covering our bases.
In 3 places.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. City officials' reports, we have none. Communications miscellaneous business as authorized by law. Any updates from any of the liaisons? All right. Closed session. Following the conclusion of consideration for the above portion of its regularly scheduled agenda, the Common Council will meet to vote on a motion to convene in closed session for discussion action relative to the city's handbook policy regarding the pay scale for a City of Muskego employee and to take such further action as may be appropriate with respect to such matters. A closed session for the above purposes is authorized pursuant to the provisions of Wisconsin Statute 19.85 subsection 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data for any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Upon conclusion of the closed session, the Common Council will convene to open session to consider its public agenda, including motions to recommend approval or rejection of the above listed deliberations or any of the public agenda items that have not been acted upon.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
All those in favor say,
Is this a roll? I can't remember.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Will the clerk please read the roll?
Alderperson Wolf.
Yes.
Hamel.
Yes.
Terrence.
Yes.
Kapusta.
Yes.
Schrader is absent. Kubaki.
Yes.
Madden.
Yes.
All right, we have voted, we will convene into closed session. Let's just go into my conference room. We'll do it in there. We will only be coming out of closed session for the purposes of adjournment. Everyone have a good night. Thank you.